Well, welcome back to another episode of The Miles Driven. This time, it's all about you. Okay, this video is all about the people that watch The Miles Driven, because recently I was having a discussion with my partner. We have new cars arrive here, and I was saying, well, what should we have next for a short stint? What do you fancy? And we had a discussion about, should we actually have an electric car for a few months? Okay, and I thought, well, actually, it could be interesting. I sit here and I've driven EVs, tested EVs, done a few EV articles on the Miles Driven website, and I thought, I talk a lot about electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles and petrol and diesel vehicles, but when it comes to the stuff I actually end up buying, it's usually a little bit different to how I look at it when a car's being reviewed, because when you're reviewing something, you're seeing, is it a good product? Is it something that's been made for an audience and will do its job well? But that's a slightly different question to what I used to ask when I sold cars, which was, what is it that you want? And we will have a look around this car lot and we will find what you want. I did a poll to channel subscribers recently, and I said, would you buy a 10-year-old EV? And it was a resounding no. People seem to want to buy absolutely anything else than a 10-year-old EV. So I said, well, would you buy a 10-year-old diesel car? And for the majority, people said yes. Some people said maybe. Some people said they'd rather have a hybrid. But there were a lot of people, and it was a much more concise answer of yes than, no, or and only if I was forced to, and things like that that came on the electric vehicle. So I thought there are a lot of you out there that are probably having to answer this question. Maybe you've had a car for 10 years and it's getting old. Maybe you're replacing a company vehicle that is up on its lease and you have to change it even though you like the one you've got. Maybe you have some sort of deal with work where every 6 months or a year or whatever the reason is, they change the car. Maybe you work in a hire car company, and so you just take home whatever is available to you, and you're thinking, well, I need something that's going to fit into my lifestyle. Or maybe you're just watching this, you found it on YouTube, on the internet, and thought, yeah, I'm really stuck with this decision as well. Well, put a comment down below. Let's have an open discussion about this, and I would really be interested to think, or to see, what you are thinking of buying next. I'll tell you a little bit about my mindset on this, and it's that while short-term electric car ownership is fairly tempting, and that's because there's a range of benefits that come with it. If it's a tax structure thing, okay, most of you know that. Most people buying new EVs can have sort of some benefits for the tax, although that is being stepped gradually away, and it's becoming more and more expensive to have an electric car in the UK. In Australia, I think they're a little bit behind on that one. They're still trying to get adoption. In America, well, I think a lot of cars are about to get a lot more expensive there, but who knows what will come around the corner, whether it's electric or petrol or whatever. The point being that if you're in the market and you're saying to yourself, well, what fits my lifestyle? Not what's happening out in the world of regulators and politics and everything else. Because today, if, for example, and I've actually got one of these coming soon, there'll be a review on the channel, you said, well, I just want to buy a petrol, gas, if you're in the US, car. I don't want it to have any fancy systems with it, really. I just want something that's a car that I can drive. Then you can still go and do that. For example, the car got coming on test soon is a Volkswagen Golf. It's a 1.5 petrol turbocharged engine. Mild hybrid, because almost all cars are now mild hybrid, but honestly, mild hybrid systems, they do increase efficiency a little bit. They're not making, the colossal difference of having something that's, say, plug-in or is a self-charging system. They're just sort of boosting you, helping fill in some of the power, depending on the system. They can either do that, or they can help the engine sort of shut off and give it a little bit of a helping hand to boost efficiency. You can, at the moment, 2025, just walk into a dealership and say, hi, I don't want an electric, I don't want an EV, I don't want a diesel, I just want to buy something with a petrol engine. You can also go in and say, hi, I don't want anything electrically assisted, I just want a diesel engine. There's a variety of pickup trucks over in the US. There's a variety of German car manufacturers over in Europe that are still offering that. If you said to yourself, well, actually, I've got, say, solar panels on my roof and I've got a charger because it came with my house, or because someone's going to fit it for free, or whatever the story may be, and you're interested in a hybrid, that may be an option that you've been seriously looking at. But the range that is coming with newer hybrids is making it a little bit more challenging on the used hybrid market, because cars are jumping from, say, 20, 25 miles, so let's say 40 to 50 kilometers, to more like 50 to 75 miles. Now that's a huge change in how far you can go on a battery. You know, the difference of being able to do, say, 130 kilometers on a battery and being able to do 50 in mileage, you know, being able to do 20 and being able to do 70, that's a real big change. And because of that, we're seeing a reflection, and it's one of the things, and it's the reason I'm asking this question to you. The reflection is we're seeing depreciation for, you know, older plug-in hybrids and older EVs like never before. And of course, I look at a car when I'm reviewing it and I say, is it a good product? Is it good at doing what it does? Does it deliver on the promise? However, what I'm not talking about a lot of the time, and one of the conversations I used to have with customers all the time when I was selling cars is, well, what's it going to be worth in 3 or 5 years? Because they weren't looking to keep it long term. They were looking to buy it, preferably on some sort of finance package, and then hand it back after a set period of time and get another new car. Or they were looking to buy it, have it on payments as long as was needs be to pay it off, and then keep it. That's actually, for a little bit of personal information, that's what my wife did. She bought a car, she had it on a 4-year payment agreement, paid it off, and has kept the car because she really, really likes it, and she doesn't really know what she wants next. So I would be really interested to know what's going on in your decision making. Have you had, I don't know, a 30-year-old Range Rover that's done you great, but you've decided that cars are too expensive and you're not going to buy another one? Have you got a Nissan Leaf from 2010 that's only got 40 miles left on a full charge and you said, no, right, it really is time that I change my car? Are you worried about the depreciation side of cars? Because that's something that really has become staggering to me. We used to base the future value of the car against the payments when I sold brand new. Okay, so we would give people a guaranteed future value for their car. And as a dealer, those were by far and away the favourite deals. There's the ones that my managers would basically tell me, you have to sell. Okay, guarantee future value, get them back in the door in 3 years' time because I want to see their car again. I want it to be a used car on the lot in 3 years' time. And a lot of the time, finance companies quite liked those guaranteed futures because you could say to a customer, this is the payment, this is its future value. If it's a little bit more than that, and let's face it, most banks and finance companies always set it a little bit below what they thought it could be to control for market. Different things could happen in the market that would affect the price. But if it turned out nothing did, they'd be a little bit up on that finance deal at the end of it. Plus, ultimately, they're there to make money on the interest of the payments, not the difference in what you start and finish at. In 2008, it was terrifying for a lot of finance companies. They'd guaranteed future valued vehicles that obviously dropped off a cliff the second that a recession came in. That was particularly obvious to me because I was selling used at the time, and the amount of BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, Land Rover, Lexus, all of your prestige brands that came in, and people were just running away from them. And we were selling them cheap. I mean, compared to the price of cars today that are 3 years old and that are not either plug-in hybrid or electric, it was you could get a fantastic deal and basically lose no money in a couple of years' time because you bought them so cheap. One of the things that I was going to pick up originally on this video, it's been planned for a few weeks for me to sort of ask you all what you're going to do, is I was going to mention, if you are in the market for an EV, is it a Tesla? Because Teslas have historically held their value that little bit better than the rest of the EV market. However, looking at it more recently, that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to have been a correction has happened, I should say, in the market for EVs. And so that has affected Tesla for a variety of reasons we won't go into in this video because this is all about you and what you're planning to buy next. So I would be really interested to know, let's say, open discourse. I don't really want people to sort of put opinions of I hate this and I hate that. I'd just be really interested to know what is it that you're planning to buy next. And if we can have a bit of an open, civil discussion in the comments about that, that would be fantastic. I hope you have a nice day. Consider subscribing and liking the video if you've enjoyed it, and I shall catch you in the next one.